Hello, fellow Milanistas. Hope you guys are having a great day and really tuned in for what we've got for a show for you here today. It's Derby Day for those who don't know, and yeah, it's a big game. Seeing how we've underperformed, in my opinion, in the past few games. So it's me, Husni, from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Shane in Kenya. So I hope it's everyone's doing all right, and yeah, wherever you may be, today's the day. I guess it's be pivotal, not in terms only of Pioli's career, but where are we gonna end up? Because the more points you drop, the worse it's probably gonna look like at the end of the season. How about you, Shane? What's running through your mind right now? Does it look good or not so good?
Man, we live in an interesting time, right? Because essentially what's happened is the same people that were calling for Pioli to change something are now freaking out that he's changed formation, right? So this is going to be interesting. So there's two potential formations that he was toying with apparently. So there was a 3-5-2, but the consensus seems to be now that it's going to be a 4-3-3. Um, So this is from the Corriere dello Sport, I believe, Husni, yeah?
Yeah.
This
Sorry,
screenshot,
from
which
Gazetta, I
which
think.
shows, sorry, Gazzetta. So it
Yeah.
shows what's more than likely going to be the formation, which is going to be a 4-3-3. Um, so I mean, look, it gives protection to the areas that need it, namely the back four and our wrecked goalkeeper, right? So we can't complain about that too much. Bit of an interesting one though. I mean, if we go by this, so we have Salamakers on the right hand side of the attacking three, right, and then we have Messias on the right hand side of the three in the midfield. That's kind of strange, to be honest. I'm not sure I understand that. I mean, Messias, for all his faults, I mean he's better in the attacking phase. I can't see him providing much output here on the in the midfield. I mean, early early comments were kind of saying, "Oh, it's going to be Pobega," but I think maybe Pobega would be better suited to the midfield three than Messias would be. Um, Other than that, it's I suppose to comment on it, it's Hernandez, Kalulu, Kier, Calabria in the back four. Tatarusanu, God help us all, is still in goal. In the midfield three, so we have Krunic, Tonali, Macias. On the attacking three, we have Leao, Giroud, and Salamakers. Are you any surprises there for you outside of the formation change, Hosni? What do you think about that lineup?
Not that surprised, but keep in mind is that the 3-5-2 that was floated around, I think, quite early last week. We've actually seen that before, and that was in the Coppa Italia against Torino. We all know how that went. We really know how that went. It didn't go so good. But yeah, you're right. I mean, everyone's screaming for something different, and now that we have something different, it now makes us uneasy. But one thing that I do want to say about the players that he's chosen, and this is where I'm the disappointment is really building up and compounding for me. We have many midfielders. We got Franks. Adley can do it. And I think Adley did it in Bordeaux last season. Pobega, as you've mentioned it. So why do we have Macias as our right midfielder? And we keep hearing this from Pioli about not giving points of reference. But you know what I think is going to happen is that it's probably going to be a mess because everyone's been playing 4-2-3-1 for the past several years, and now we got someone like Messias who probably might not quite know what to do in that situation. It's like, should I be driving down the wing? Should I be cutting in? And keep in mind that Messias back in I think it was which club was he from? Uh,
Crotone, I think.
Crotone. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Crotone. He actually played Cam most of the time in Crotone, and right winger, sparingly you could say. So this is where I really don't get it. What are we trying to achieve? I mean, do you see Messias performing well in a three-man midfield compared to our other players who are on the bench and have actually played those positions? What do you think?
So to me, I think what this lineup kind of screams is, or sorry, what this formation and well, I guess the lineup kind of screams to me is that we're literally just content to sit back now and try and hit Inter on the counter, and Inter's set up to do the same thing. So it's going to be a hell of a boring game of football. Um, unless Leao can maybe do a bit of magic, but I don't know. I mean, okay. So look at it this way, right? So we see, so outside even of Messias, right? But it's like you said. I mean, we have, we have the likes of Pabega, we have the likes of Ranks that can fill in, probably far better in a 4-3-3 in the midfield than the likes of Messias or potentially Krunic or Adley. I mean, yeah, but I think what's a strange one to me here is why is Giroud still playing?
Yep,
It's like
you're right.
like we have, so we have Decathlon, which I mean I think everyone agrees at this point is like, look, because he costs us 35 million, obviously, he's going to need all the time that he needs, right, to come good. But I mean, just throw him on at this point because what's Giroud going to do? I mean, look over the last couple of games, all he's been doing, and it's not been his fault because you can't really do much for the most part if you don't have consistent service with the ball, right? So he has been doing his flick-ons, but they haven't been working out. But the thing
Yeah,
is if we're set up,
sorry,
hmm?
in the attacking position, and this is why the purely fire in me is raging white. So the past game, yeah, the previous game, it was a disaster. Everyone acknowledges that. But who scored? Giroud, and number two, Divock Origi. If the man can score as recently as that, and you keep benching him, how is it going to work? Not only in terms of his confidence, but also in terms of his, how can you say, his fitness and his match fitness and his form. Because the guy can score, and if he's able to replicate that, and imagine if we need the additional goal at least to break a deadlock or get back into the game, you're going to need players like that. But this is why I don't understand this selection. Giroud is not a bad player, but 4-3-3, how about the 4-4-2? At least we got to nullify the five-man midfield that Inter will deploy against us. At least he's got to do
True,
that.
but even speaking about Origi, right? I know, obviously, leading up until now, right? Through injuries and whatever else, he hasn't featured much. But the thing is he scored a screamer of a goal in the last game.
Yeah,
Is that not just? And like he did more, the minutes he was on than Giroud did. So is that not justification to actually choose him over Giroud?
I don't know. I don't know what's going through Pioli's mind. Is it that, I'm trying to play it safe? But everyone knows, and before the game, Inter, the Inzaghi, the coaching team, they all study of the players. If you put Giroud and you're almost the same lineup, it's so predictable because you know what Giroud's going to do. You know what he's up to do. Liao, same thing. In
Mm.
the Super Copa, it proved that Inter are capable of figuring it out. They know how to nullify Liao. Just they figured it out. I know that the first game of the season we won and they couldn't really get keep up with him, but people learn. So if you don't want to give points of reference, why essentially keep most of your lineup? And there's one
And
player,
this,
but I mean, go ahead. There's one player that I want to pick up, and I'm about to slam this guy because he's still inside the lineup. But go ahead, Shane.
but there is another quick one as well, right? If you have, so we kind of see what Giroud's game is outside of being a good poacher in the box, right? Which he's found it hard to do in the last couple of games because we haven't been in the opponent's box that much. But as again, he is doing these flick-ons, right? But to do flick-ons and stuff like that, right? You need someone that's inside the box. But look at the midfield, right? So he's going to have, so Tonali, right, for the most part, is going to be sitting back. Krunic, I mean, what's going to happen there? Not much. Messias, right? I mean, he might do a run or two. Salamakers, he's never inside that box unless he runs it himself with the ball. So he's not going to be knocking it to anyone. Leao maybe, but Leao is very often the start of the attack. He's the focal point of the attack. So it's not like Giroud is likely going to be knocking the ball onto him. So to me, just Giroud doesn't suit this lineup, and he doesn't suit what we're doing. You need someone that's going to be a bit more active and they can actually run with the ball, and that's why I'm going for CDK or even, I know this sounds bad, but even Origi. I mean, at this point, over Giroud, and it's not slamming Giroud. It's literally just saying because none of this team is playing.
Yeah,
There
right.
isn't. it's not slamming Giroud or being harsh on Giroud, but you know, if you're going to change the formation, that means that you're looking to do something slightly different in the context of how you want the team to play, right? So it's never just a formation change. It's always a change of, okay, so I want us to either sit back or I want us to go on the front foot more, right? So, and because what we've seen in the last couple of games is we've regressed, especially when it comes time to actually, market or pressing players and stuff like that. So we're just going to have to be comfortable in possession, which, yeah, 4-3-3 should help with that. But going forward, though, Jesus Christ. I mean, try to, this makes no sense. To me, this is a lineup that basically screams we'll try and get a draw. We'll try and get a nil all.
And that wouldn't be too bad in the context of what's happened in the past few games. But tell me, Shane, and I'm trying to visualize or simulate in my mind how this game is going to play out. So we got Giroud up front, and this is something that I noticed in the past games as well. Everyone is trying to feed him, but he's only one guy. What do you think is going to happen? And I'm not, as much as I would like to slam a Cherby, but he, despite his age, he's actually not done too bad. This is why he keeps featuring. So, how do you see, if the goals were to come, do you think that we have a chance from open play, or, I mean, set pieces? I'm not going to predict that we're going to score from one of those, but we might. I mean, it's happened before in the rare, extremely rare chance. But where do you think the goal is coming from? Is Giroud going to draw everyone away, and you're going to expect like Tonali or Messia to do something? I mean, Theo is there, and definitely going to see some friction with Dumfries on that side. But the one player that I did mention that I am absolutely pissed off about is Calabria. I'm sorry, I know he's our captain, Capitano Calabria. Slow, definitely his mind is not in the game. I don't know what's going on. My question to you is: he done?
Yep. Yeah. To be honest, I've been Calabria out for even before we won this area. I think, remember, he went through, it wasn't the last injury that he had, it was the injury before that I think toasted him pretty much, right? To me, Calabria reminds me an awful lot, and you might call this PTSD, like post traumatic stress disorder, right? But he does remind me an awful lot about Abade, right? Started off very good, started off good, was fast, was good in the attacking phase. And next thing, then you seen how it kind of went for Abate. I mean, he was one of the last remaining players left from the good squad in the banter era. But there was a reason for that because he was a junk player. Um, so yeah, he just reminds me so much of Abate. I think he's done. He's nowhere near Champions League level. Even when he plays a good game, um, you know, when he plays a good game, like, this is the weird thing for me when people start talking about Calabria, right? People always kind of say to you, they mention they might mention, what was that goal he scored? He scored relatively recently. Ran with the ball, shot it in. It was only a couple of games ago, but it was a good goal essentially that he scored. But I can't remember who was against. But people always bring up these little bits of, oh well, he's gotten a couple of goals for us and stuff, and yeah, you get it. But the thing is when you look at his defensive output, which is, you know, he's not at Hernandez's level where you could say, okay, as average as Hernandez is defensively, going forward, he's one of the best in the world on his day for a left back. Calabria is not that. He never was that. But Calabria's defensive output, especially into the last couple of games, has been awful. This guy is the captain. This guy is the captain, right? Captain leads by example. He's not even doing the basics properly. He's marking his man, tracking his man properly. How the hell are the young players that are in this team supposed to look at that and look at the captain with any confidence when the captain is doing that? The only thing that's making this guy that, the only reason why this guy is still captain, right? And this is one thing that needs to change with Milan, right? Especially now we've hopefully come out of the banter era and we won't be going back to it. Hopefully. this game will tell us a lot on that story, right? But the only reason that Calabria has that armband is because of that rule. Oh, he's done X amount of, he's done so many more appearances. But you're surely there is someone in that team. Like I will give it to Tenali, I will give it to Benacer. I would. There is 5 or 6 players that I would give that captaincy to, that I think can actually get their point across in the field and drive that team forward. Calabria is none of those. He should not be playing for this club. He's at best he's a Lazio level player. I mean, he might be okay in the Europa. Sorry, Lazio fans. He might be okay in the Europa, but he's not a serious player and he never was. I don't want to see him play for this club again. I'm watching now. He'll come out and score a hat trick today.
Yeah, well, it's quite a critique of our captain, but you're right. And what gets me, and we've had players underperforming as well. The club has its limits, so you got to agree that the club has its limits. In the case of last season when we won the Scudetto, Pioli had the courage, even though Romagnoli was the captain, had the courage to bench him and said that you're the captain, but you're not my best guy out there. So I'm not going to tamper with this partnership. Please ride the bench. In this case, for some reason, he's not willing to do it to Calabria. And I can understand
Do
for
you
the
remember? Do you
yeah,
remember what turned it all for Romagnoli? What turned it sour? Was it Atalanta where he got turned and he landed on his face, basically?
that was Sassuolo actually.
Sassuolo.
Berardi did
So he
that.
got turned and he landed on his face, right? And that turned it for Romagnoli. Romagnoli was basically out the gate. Then he was gone, right? Calabria, right, has done pretty much the same thing in the last 3 games, and he is still club captain and he is still playing.
I mean, this comes to a bigger discussion about how I think you used the word sympathetic in the previous stream. It's like how sympathetic or how generous are we to these players to say that, fine, you didn't have a good game, but we're still going to reward you. Because for the same reason as in our midfield, we have players who can play right back. We have Kalulu, who I think in the centre back hasn't been doing well, but I think he's still a damn good player.
I
Put
think
him
he's
back
I
on
think
right
he's set
back.
for a right back. It's like you said, Kalulu at right back. I love it. I love it. There's nothing I've never seen anything about Kalulu that says to me that he would not be a good right back. Going forward, he's good. Defensively, he's good.
He can
Playing
cross the
Kalulu in
ball,
the
yeah,
centre
and
back pairing,
he can
he can
score,
cross
no
the ball.
problem.
And instead, we're playing this joker. Come on, guys. I mean, how can anyone be on this Calabria bandwagon at this point?
But in replacement of Kalulu in a centre back, we have Malik Chow, who I thought hasn't had a disaster game. Oh, he hasn't had a. I mean, he's had one spectacular minutes when he came on, but he hasn't had a disaster level as what we've seen from Calabria or even sometimes from Kalulu. So we pride ourselves at the beginning of the season saying that we got depth. We got players. There will definitely be games that they can play, so you don't have to worry about game time. But push comes to shove, we're never going to see them. We're going to see the same faces. And I'm sorry, Kier, to a certain extent, he looks past it. I mean, what can you say about Kier, Shane? I mean, you've seen him play. I know he's been absent. He's come back from a long injury, but you've seen him his past few games. A decision has to be made. It's as if we don't have players. This is how when we look at the lineup and we look at the formation changes, it's as if we don't have players, but we do. This is the joke of it
I
all.
think
We do.
I think we're at such a point now, right? We're at such a point now where literally the Titanic is sinking, right? And and Limoni and Zaggy is fucked off with the last lifeboat, right? So at this point, right? At this point, it's just do you know what? I would not be against Kier coming out and what's it well. So it's kind of hard to say on Kier because the thing is he's off the pace and he's lost an awful lot of pace. But the thing is I think strangely enough with this extra added protection in the midfield, I think he could do quite well. Um, so, but I'm definitely not sold on Kalulu in the centre back pairing though. And it's why I'm not sold. So the reason why I'm not sold as Kalulu in the centre back pairing is it's different compared to why I'm not sold on Calabria. Kalulu, right, has been beaten a couple of times for headers, which we've seen, right? But the thing is for the most part, in the centre back, just like Kalulu when he was at right back, right, he does very well, right, for the most part. For the most part. Kier, though, I think he's starting to show his age. I think he had a great couple of seasons with us, and we should forever be happy to, or we should be indebted to him. But I just think we're at the point now where, we're seeing that the players that we need to cut from for next season, now they won't be cut because Milan don't sell players for some reason. You know, people take the piss out of Chelsea. You know, with Todd Bowley buying 50 players, whatever the hell is going on there, right? But at the end of the day, is like we're not much different. The only difference is we don't have the money, but we still have a huge roster. The problem is our quality is nowhere near the likes of these Premier League teams. But come on, I like the best. Right, so the best I'm hoping for this, right, is just that we get a clean sheet. We get a clean sheet. I'm not even expecting. There's no way I could expect 3 points, right? If we can get a clean sheet, right, we can build on that.
Shane, what makes you think we can get clean sheets considering the amount of goals we've let in? I mean, what is it now?
We're playing. So don't
We've
don't
let in
don't let
12
this
goals
Super
in
Cup.
three games.
Yeah, but don't let the Super Cup a win, or don't let So Inter are not a solid unit of a team.
I know, but even Sassuolo weren't that solid. Look at what they did to us.
True, true. But the thing is there's no way that a team, right? So let's say we're missing Kessie and we're missing Romagnoli, right, from last season essentially,
Mm.
right? Those are the two guys that left. But you're not telling me that Kessie leaving, as much he was an absolute beast for us, and he is missed very much so, right? But the thing is Romagnoli, as you said, not so much. I mean, he hardly showed up. He was hardly playing. But you're not telling me that a team that misses Kessie, right? Kessie being there or not, right? You're not telling me that this team has dropped in quality so much that we are dropping 5 goals to Sassuolo, right? So this is definitely not this is it, it is definitely not a quality of the players problem, right? This is literally a mentality problem. um and this is why, look, formation change, kudos to Pioli, he's done it, right? Eventually people were knocking him, saying he's taking his time, he has done it. I don't think it's going to be enough, um, you know, because I think just the team have basically moved on, and Pioli is no longer, he's no longer in charge of this team. So, I mean, look, it can be. I think we're definitely in the last days of Pioli here. I think, especially, I mean, and keep in mind, Hosni, like you said, right? So we're trying a quote unquote new formation that's probably been tested in training a few times, and we're trying it against Inter.
Yeah. Everyone's hyped up, even Inter, by the way. You could argue that this might have worked against Lazio, which we didn't try against them. But we're trying
Sassuolo,
against an opponent who's really amped up for it.
Sassuolo.
Yeah, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Sassuolo. So if you're going to try, so the thing is, so we're going to be trying this formation against Inter, who obviously there's more stake here than just the 3 points. There's the bragging rights, and there's the derby and all that junk. You know, and keep in mind, formation change or not, we did beat this team, or earlier on in the season,
We did with
right?
With CDK starting. Remember that as
Yeah.
Cam.
So, and the thing is that the quality hasn't dropped. The only thing that's dropped is the players have given up on the manager. So the thing is, you could literally change the formation all you want, though, Hosni, really. And this is my point. You change the formation, you can give the people what you want, right? And all it's going to end up doing, anyways, is literally just going to give people more ammo to say, do you know what, Pioli doesn't have a clue. But we already came to this. We we were understanding of this, about a month ago. So
Yep,
what
and
do you do?
about that Pioli out, it's evident that Pioli he cannot fire himself. Yeah, so if he resigns, I think probably some sort of contractual clause that he doesn't get his remaining months of salary. So he actually has to be sacked. Maybe this is the way to say that I've probably tried everything. I've done your 3-5-2. I've done the 4-3-3. It doesn't work. We keep getting smashed. Please let me go and so I can enjoy my long vacation. Maybe that's it. And I'm sure he won't be short on offers. But for us as a club, a lot is at stake. If we don't make top four, if we keep falling down the order of things, it's it's as if we got the same penalty as Juve, as if we got the point deduction, but mentally.
And, and keep in mind as well, right? Why I'm hopeful. As tight as Redbird have been in this transfer window, I still think there is a plan here, right? And I think what the plan is with Redbird, and this is the only thing that makes sense to me as to why they didn't provide the cash, right? The only thing that makes sense to me in this situation as to why they didn't buy in January, right, is literally Redbird saying, we have a manager in that we didn't actually hire for this position, right? What we need to see is we need to see how good this manager is with no investments, with nothing. We need to see how good he is at using what he has. If he proves himself, we will go and invest in the summer. If he doesn't, who cares? We just get a new manager.
Fair
And
point. I
that's the
never
only
thought
thing
about
that
it that
makes
way.
sense to
Yeah,
me.
it's a good way to look at it because you save your funds and each manager will have their own vision. So that will be something that hopefully Redbird or Cardinale can help to realize. But then again, it could also be the other way around, saying that obviously until the stadium is complete, he just doesn't care. But Shane, tell me, score predictions. Where do you think we're going to land at?
So do you remember, was it 2000? Was it the 11th of May 2000 when we hammered Inter 6-0?
I don't want to think about that because it might happen to us today.
So we owe Inter a debt there. Or Inter owe us a debt rather, or So I I can't even give a prediction. I'm just hoping that it's a clean sheet. That's all I want. A clean sheet is paramount to me, just to restore some confidence, because we can build on that. I'm not even going to be stupid and say we're going to win this game.
Allow me to give my prediction, and I agree with you. Yeah, a clean sheet, but not for us.
Krunic for a hat trick, 3-0.
The way it looks like it's not going to be us that gets the clean sheet, and that's what's going to be embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But what's important for me is that what gets done after the game. So the score is going to be what it is, and the game's going to play out as it's going to be, win or lose. But what's going to happen after? This is where I want to see the management step in. If we win, fine. What are we going to do? Are we going to do 4-3-3 for the rest of the season? If we lose, are we honestly still keeping Pioli? These are the questions that I want answered after the game, and I hope that
Oh, we
Maldini or
will.
Massara
We
has the
will.
balls to say
Oh, we will. Yeah, no, we will. We will keep Pioli.
it.
We will keep Pioli. This is the worst thing. And this is, you know what you said? You know what you said about this club being too forgiving
Yeah.
when it comes to incompetence? So we will keep Pioli. And the thing is keeping Pioli or keeping anyone else is absolutely fine. But the thing is banter eras start with this kind of idiocy.
Yeah, you're right there, but it's not. I don't think it's also that that level of forgiveness, but it's a lack of ambition that gets me. So if you won the Scudetto, why not go for a second one? I know we are ambitious inside the UCL because that each stage gets us a lot of money, especially each win. But why don't we have the same ambitions in the league? If we did, and I don't want to mention other clubs because they have their own philosophy, but other clubs, if they're not taking you to where you want to go, they'll make changes, as many changes as required, because they know the cost of being wrong.
Well, the thing is but it's like you said, right? This is definitely not. So a team of players minus one, as much as good as Kessie was, right? This doesn't equate to this level of performance.
Yeah,
Us
you're right.
just missing Kessie, right? So it's not the players have suddenly turned around and became Serie B players, right? So the thing is this is literally, it can just be the players have given up because they kind of said, look, this is too physically taxing. I can't do it. I'm sorry, man. I'm checked out, right? Which is fine. And it happens. But the thing is, the only way you can fix that, because players aren't going to come back and suddenly side with the manager now. They can say what they want after the match, right? You know, like Calabria and Kier and fucking everyone else nearly that's done a post match you know. But like at the end of the day, guys, look, you know, these players, they've given up on Pioli. He doesn't have a plan B. He needs to go. He won't go. He won't go. And even if he does go, right, and even if, God forbid, right, we get massacred against Inter, right, and he goes, who do we replace him with? Right, because
I think
people are
I
got
wanted to
people.
say,
Sorry, say again. That was a bit of interference. I can't hear me.
sorry,
I
it's
can hear.
Chap Gourmet, which is the second part of Chinese New Year, so it's a bit noisy. Go ahead, Shane.
Oh, nice, nice. Very good. So, with those celebrations in the background, yeah. Uh, look, you know, like people asking for a change of Pioli, right? I mean, right? You know, and then you know, Twitter then coming out and saying, "Oh, well, we can't get Tuchel or we can't get all these great managers." But the thing is guys, they're not going to come. Why are they going to come? So the thing is, we're going to probably end up with a Bate, or we're going to end up with someone from Serie B who's showing promise, right?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's for those who don't know, in Malaysia, it's still celebrating Chinese New Year for the second part, Chap Gourmet. But yeah, I wanted to put one name out, and that's been Sheva. But there are managers available out there, but it's a matter of whether their vision or what those managerial styles are able to sink in with what you know our own management
And
are
if they'll
after.
work for free,
Indeed, or almost for free.
almost
Well,
for free.
Shane, all I want to say is thanks for that preview, and yeah, we're gonna keep it a bit short today. I have some other matters to attend to. So yeah, any final thoughts and how are you feeling right now?
God help us all. Anything less than a clean sheet today, you know,
Yeah,
we're done. We're done.
yeah, I'm with you there. And on my end, purely out, and look forward to another eventful derby, which is probably going to be packed with tension or disappointment, as I expect. But for all those tuning in and listening, viewing, thank you all, and please follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. Sorry about the Apple Spot and Apple Podcast and Spotify. I haven't had a chance to upload the latest episodes yet, but I'll get right to it. But for the most updated content, please, yeah, do tune in on YouTube and Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Italia!